I wanted to review how to solve the pineapple juice problem. Wellington has 3/4 of a gallon of pineapple juice. This is 6/7 of what was originally in the container. How much juice was in the container originally? Now, I'm going to solve this problem a couple different ways. The first way that I'm going to start with is using a model, or assuming that we don't know how to do it the algebra way yet. I'll show you the algebra way next, but because as sixth graders at the beginning of the year we haven't done those one-step equations, I would rather us tackle this problem from a visual perspective and work from there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a model to represent the question. I think of this problem a lot like those Cuisinart rods. So Wellington has 3/4 of a gallon. So I'm going to draw 3/4 of a gallon and label it 3/4 of a gallon. Let me shade this in here to represent how much juice he has now. He has 3/4 of a gallon. Then it says this is 6/7 of what was originally in the container. People frequently get confused when they see this word of, because of is a keyword for multiplying. But you're not going to multiply it by 3/4 because 3/4 is the part of the pineapple juice. You would multiply of, you would do 6/7 times what was originally in the container to figure out the part. So this is working backwards. I know that the juice that was originally in the container has to be more than 3/4. So sometimes when you solve math problems, think about what the answer should be before you actually tackle the problem. I know that if 3/4 is 6/7 what originally was in the container, that there should be more apple juice or pineapple juice in the container originally. But it won't be a lot more because 6/7 is, he didn't drink that much of his pineapple juice. So it should just be a little bit more is my answer. Now, this part right here, the shaded part, represents 6/7. That means this section right here represents 6 parts out of the 7 parts needs to be a whole. Well, I'm looking at my drawing right here and I see 1, 2, 3 parts. I know I can easily change it into 6 equal parts by splitting each of the parts in half. So now when you look at my diagram, you'll see that I have 6 equal parts. Let's look at them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 equal parts. I have to figure out how much each part is. So I need to do 3/4 divided by my 6 parts because I want to see how much one part of my juice is going to be. So 3/4 divided by 6 would equal 1/8. I look at it visually and I can see that each of these boxes is 1/8 because I split my 1/4 in half. But if you needed to do keep, change, flip, that's fine. So I have 1/8. Then I have 1/8, 1/8 of a gallon, another 1/8 of a gallon, another 1/8 of a gallon, another 1/8 of a gallon, which is really interesting because now when I add those up, I have 6/8 of a gallon. The same thing as 3/4 of a gallon. Now, I'm going to go back to why did I divide it by 6? I divided it by 6 because it said that this orange part represented 6/7 of a number. So I know it was 6 out of the 7 parts. So here I got my 6 parts that I need. This is one of my parts right here. Now, I needed 7 total parts to make a whole. So I just need to add a 7th part. And then this right here is going to represent my whole. So if I'm looking over here, I have a whole of 7 equal parts. So that's going to be my original container. Right here, from here to here, If I sort of go up here and draw my diagram a little bit better up here, this part right here is 6 pieces out of the 7 to make a whole. So this part is 6/7 from here to here. And then that would be my whole would be 7/7. So along the bottom, what that represents is how many gallons. So I have 7/8 of a gallon is going to be my whole amount of pineapple juice. Now, I also want to take a break and do it algebraically, because I bet many of you are going to like doing it the algebra way. Like we talked about, of means to multiply. So I want to do 6/7 times a mystery number should equal the part, or 3/4. We just need to figure out what number should we multiply by 6/7 to get 3/4. Well, I'm going to take it back to whole numbers. If I have 6 and I multiply it by a mystery number and I get 18, how do we figure out what that mystery number is? Well, we know it's 3 because 6 times 3 is 18. But how did I get 3? Really, I did 18 divided by 6 is going to give me my mystery number. I'm going to use that same principle of whole numbers over here with fractions. I'm going to take 3/4 and I'm going to divide it by 6/7 and I'm going to get my mystery number. Believe it or not, that's the exact same thing that we just did with our model. Because to divide, I would do 3/4 times 7/6. I want to go back through our model and show you that that's exactly the steps that we did. We took the 3/4 and we divided the 3/4 into 6 pieces. That was our first step. We said 3/4 divided by 6. And then we took, what we got was 1/8. We took that 1/8 and we multiplied it by 7. That's the exact same thing, boys and girls, as multiplying it by 7/6, which is the same thing as dividing by 6/7.